Hello everyone, we're back with some more Higanbana no Saku Yoru. When we last left off, we started Utopia during my, I forget what I called it. I'm staying up all night to play as much of this as possible, hopefully finish it. I set a goal to record 20 videos this weekend. It's the last day of the weekend, and well, that I'll be able to record, that is. And this is the 7th video? So we're a bit behind schedule, but I think we can come back. Just, if I make them all 10 minutes long. Whoa. I've just solved the formula. Anyway. Here we have Yukari Sakaki, who presumably will be the protagonist this chapter. From the moment Yukari Sakaki first knew what it meant to be a bullied child, she immediately became aware that she was a perfect nomination. And from there, she also understood it was something she urgently had to escape. However, she was still very young and did not know what she could go about accomplishing that. How she could go about accomplishing that. So she decided to ask her parents and teachers about it, and this is what they told her. If you retaliate, they'll just keep coming for you. You idiot! Your bullies think it's funny because you respond, right? Just ignore them, ignore them. If you do that, they won't bully you anymore. So she obediently believed this and put it into practice. But somehow, it seemed that in order to see results, she had to persevere for a considerable amount of time. She couldn't reap the fruits of that hard work overnight, and as a result, today was another day of being a bullied child. Something small hit my head with a pat. Even without looking, I knew what it was. It was a ball someone had torn off of the eraser. Okay, you know what you do? You remember the Higurashi OVA, I forget the name of the arc, it's Arc 9. It's not really part of the main series, but at the same time it's still important enough that it should be. That one, yeah. You take your desk, and you go hit them with it. Just... I promise you, the bullying will most likely stop. You probably will have a hard time making friends, but I mean... If I acted like I was going to shake it off, they'd think my reaction was funny. And the bullies would keep hitting me relentlessly. So I pretended I didn't notice. I could hear giggling voices. Like, you already have... Like, I hope you guys know what scene I'm referring to. It's... I guess I can't really say any more without spoiler. Well, yeah, I guess I'd call that scene spoilers. Like... It's one of those like gifs that you see on the internet sometimes, just out in the wild, and you're like, oh, yay, Higurashi. Anyway, I could hear giggling voices, as people saw the flecks of eraser stuck in my hair. But if I react, there's no doubt they'd tenaciously bully me even more. So just like I was told, I ignored them. I pretended I didn't notice. With countless flecks of eraser spread throughout my hair, the whole entire time, I pretended I didn't notice, and endured it. When I had to use the bathroom, I decided to use the one that was far away from the classroom. In the old, not like the club building. Because if I used one close to the classroom, I'd bump into one of my bullies. Even though they were only persistent in class, if I were to run into one of them in this isolated place, I didn't even want to think about it. So I disliked the restrooms close to class. And just like this, I'd go to a different school building and use a different year's bathroom. Sorry that I've been pausing to take a drink of water more often than usual. I've noticed that I've been kind of like I don't know how to word it. I guess just kind of like spitting in my videos a lot. Like I don't know the exact way to phrase it, and like that kind of picks up on the mic. So just hydrate a lot, and that doesn't happen. It's not like I would decide which year or which class's bathroom I would use. However, the far classroom had a peculiar air that seemed territorial. Because when I arrived, it seemed like I was visiting a foreign land. There wasn't even the slightest hint of a warm, welcoming atmosphere. Who is that? She's an upperclassman, right? What's she doing here? But if I go into a stall like this and close the door, then I can isolate myself from everything. When I'm here, the bathroom stall fits the definition of a sanctuary. Wait! She's gonna become Meso-Meso-san! What if we just get like 10 different Meso-Meso-sans by the end of this? Furthermore, there wouldn't be any deck brushes or buckets tossed at me either. Wait. Deck brush? What's a deck brush? Oh! I thought those were called brooms. I kneeled down as though I had drained all my strength. With a small shake of my head, I covered my face with both hands. It wasn't because I wanted to cry. I just wanted to make my face warm by covering it with my hands. My completely chilled face almost felt the same as my heart. It was cold and hurt so much, so I only wanted to warm it a little bit. You know something? I don't know if I mentioned this at all, but I don't know, I've mentioned it at least once. I like how Rikishi is portraying bullying here. It's, if not the most, one of the most realistic portrayals of bullying I've ever seen in fiction. And, like, usually, like, when bullying gets portrayed in, like, let's just say, like, you know, Western, like, movies and books and stuff, it's, oh, I'm just the poor kid who's weak and I'm a nerd, so people beat me up behind the school. And, you know, basically every 80s movie ever. And, I mean, that's not really, there are cases like that, but most of the time, that's not really what bullying's like. Like, I don't really have first-hand experience. I wasn't really bullied. I didn't know anyone was bullied. I mean, I'm sure it'd be wrong to say, like, no one was bullied in my school, but not that I was aware of, at the very least. But all of these portrayals are like, oh yeah, that's something I can definitely see happening. Like, the kid who would get bullied wouldn't be like, you know, just some weak guy. Well, that could happen, but it's more likely to be someone like Hikaru, for example, who, you know, I'm gonna say brings it on himself, because he kind of, like, I'm not gonna say he deserved to be bullied, but at the same time, like, his actions have consequences, you know? Yeah, I hope you get what I mean by that. Because, like, for example, he threw that one girl's notebook away, right? And then he was like, why? Everyone's bullying me, they're throwing my notebook away. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to praise Rikishi again. The perfect author who makes no flaws in his writing. All of his works are literally perfect. Even the Lucia route rewrite. I've seen a lot of people, like, hating on that route recently. Which, to be fair, it's been years since I read Rewrite. But I remember liking that route. At least the beginning, because I think it did kind of drop the ball a little towards the end. When Chizuru pulled out double flintlock pistols. Flintlock revolver pistols. I was like, oh, that's Yakushi, alright. But I want to say that's one of the stronger romances in Rewrite. If not the strongest. Again, it's been a while. I read about all of Rewrite in, like, well, except the common round, in like a week. So that was a good week for me. Anyway. Getting sidetracked. I wondered, why do we go to a place like school? To be taught things? To practice things like multiplication and division or how to read and write kanji? I think we could do that kind of thing at home. Why do we have to learn this in school? I wonder why you have to go to school. I don't want to go. No, I don't want to be. Then it won't hurt. The pain in my heart would stop. Once the day is over, I can run away from school for a short time. But when the sun rises, another day will come. I can't escape. I cannot escape from this school that torments me. Is there no way? Somehow, isn't there anywhere I can run to? I know. There's nowhere. It'd be so nice if I could run away. By slipping into a wooden pipe, or hiding away in a mountain of tires, just like hide and seek. If I get seriously injured, and I'm hospitalized, I wonder if I can escape. Eh? Just then, I felt like somebody was laughing at me from somewhere. But there's no way. I don't feel the presence of anybody else in the bathroom. There's no way I heard anything, like a laugh. However, I'm sure I heard it. I felt like I did. It was a feeling just like somebody had heard the voice of my heart, and sneered. You can get out of here if you hurt yourself. Then there was mocking laughter as if to say, understand now? Then someone continued giggling at me. But that might be it. Even if I run, even if I hide, I can't escape from school. If I want to get away, then I'll obviously have to pay some kind of price for it. Pay a price? Injuring myself might be what I have to do. What? No, Higanbana! I compared that with how ready I was to pay the price for it. Now let me get away from this school for a little while. Just a little while? Well, no matter what price I pay, won't I have to go back to school sometime? Then, I'm fine paying whatever price just so I never have to return to school again. As long as my body is willing, I'm prepared to pay the greatest price. Well, that's death, isn't it? The first time I spoke, I felt the weight of that forbidden word. If I die, I won't have to come back to school. I'll be free from school. Forever. I became aware at last that my fingertips were shaking. Those fingers were entwined with sticky sweat drops that bulged at my fingertips. I wasn't shivering from the fear of death. I realized I was equating my own death with freedom from school, and that made me tremble. I learned somewhere. People shouldn't die. People die when they are killed. When I first saw that, I thought that's what that said. Someone said it. I hear it a lot on television. It's even said in dramas. Having that repeated daily for so long, at some point those foundationless values had been instilled on me. I mean, I'd say they have a foundation. People mustn't take their own lives. This is the first time that value has wavered for me. In other words, that meant, for the first time, I realized that this concept uniformly spoke around the world was a lie. I knew that the world itself was made of lies. This tightly packed bathroom stall with 4 walls. When I'm not there to see it, just how many lies and how much ridicule fills the outside of it, I wonder. That girl, she still comes to this bathroom, huh? Isn't she from a different grade? Why does she come to this bathroom? Seems she's being bullied. Isn't she always cowering? She's been in that stall forever, hasn't she? So she's making her own room or something. She likes the bathroom, then she should just live on the toilet, yeah? A gasp. A voice like that shouldn't sound like laughter. Or sorry, I can do a gasp. There. Everything was my delusion. As if I couldn't forgive my mind for birthing the idea, I gripped my head as if tearing, beating and smashing it. It's as if my skull was fracturing with a crackling pain. It made sense. I was gripping my head, thinking to break it. If I die, I can get away from school. No matter how far I run, no matter where I hide, it's the only escape from this inescapable nightmare. I'll die. If I die, I can escape from here. It's useless. Death resolves nothing and offers no freedom. I thought those tormenting words and voices of laughter were somehow my own delusions. But this voice was different. I couldn't hear it with my ears, but somehow I heard it clearly. That voice whispered to my heart. It kindly gave me an answer, a clear response to my words that sought death. Those warm words someone had prayed to reach me were absolutely not from my imagination. Startled, I looked at the area around me. However, all that surrounded me were the white walls of the stall. With my eyes open, I can't hear the voice? With my eyes open, I couldn't sense it at all, but if I close my eyes, I really can't hear a voice. No, I even felt as if someone was right next to me. Could it be a ghost? Or a yokai? Now that I think about it, didn't I hear it in some bathroom? This is yokai known as Meso-san? But wasn't that in the old school bathrooms? No, if it's a bathroom in this school, she might be able to appear anywhere. Because I'm thinking of such a bad thing like killing myself. I might have drawn a yokai to me. In a moment, thought I might be cursed and killed by a yokai. Instead of being afraid, rather, I was a little anxious. I was slightly anticipating the freedom that being murdered by a yokai could grant me. But perhaps it wasn't that kind of feeling. I was a little glad that for just a moment, even if it was just in my own mind, someone had given me those words. Who is it? Whose voice spoke with me? Saying that in my mind, once again the voice replied. This time I could hear it. I could hear it clearly. Dying is useless. Please, don't think of death as a way to save yourself. Who are you? Where are you talking to me from? Then, only the voice became silent. It was obvious it wasn't human. Then, it's probably a yokai. Yokai are much stronger than humans and bullies. After all, school for them shouldn't be anything to be afraid of. If only it could triumphantly expound its name. but the owner of the voice, as if it would be ashamed to bring its identity to light, was silent. In a panic, I apologized for what I had just asked. I'm sorry, but you're probably not human. Thank you for speaking with me. It's because I thought if I didn't talk to you, you would have died. Why shouldn't I kill myself? If you die, your mom and dad will grieve for you. Your friends and your teachers too. Do I have friends who'd grieve for me if I died? Even when I'm tormented, everyone just laughs. I don't think they'd care, even if I wasn't here. As long as you're alive, there'll be fun things to do. There's nothing like that in school. If you keep going, someday you'll graduate school, you know? Graduate? How many years should I wait here being bullied until then? You see, I used to be bullied, so I really understand how you feel. This was unexpected, because even a yokai who held amazing power had been bullied before. I thought, could it be? I wondered if she was bullying. If she was bullied, chose to end her life, and then became a yokai? Wanting to die to become a yokai is useless! It's all useless. I'm sorry? Couldn't I have my revenge on those bullies with the power of becoming a yokai? With those words, she slapped my small hope away. I'm a yokai. I live in the night of this school. Does bullying happen in the school at night too? Yes, and it's crueler than it is in the day. Please don't think that if you become a yokai, you won't be bullied by anyone any longer. Just how powerless dead souls are, and how cruel the brutality becomes. I don't think you can quite understand that while you're still alive. By the time you find out for yourself, it's already too late. And especially, souls that choose to end their own lives are a yokai's favorite food. I've already seen this firsthand. All these souls regret thinking they'd be better off dead, but then it's already too late. They're put through horrific tortures in the abyss for eternity. Seems like I've heard about this before. Really, during special studies, when a Buddhist priest came for some reason, you talked about something like that. But I couldn't compare with the authenticity of a yokai who was talking about the exact same thing. Well, then what are you suggesting I should do, yokai-san? The bullying in the world after death is even more painful, so you're saying for now I should stay here and keep being bullied like this. And until I graduate, during that very long span of time, I should keep being bullied here like this? You have to fight back. Fight? I couldn't do something like that. If I did something like that, I'll just invite more needless bullying on myself. First, you should fight those whispers of wicked yokai inviting you to free yourself through death. Well, I suppose. Then try asking for help from those around you. Try asking your parents and teachers. Once I had neglected to do that, I brought everything on myself. Ask for help from my parents? My teachers? Is this the new song? I think it is. Those words put a gash in my heart. It wasn't sadness. It was anger. I asked for help. For my parents, for my teachers. And their response was always ignore them. However, at some point I realized it. I wasn't the one who was ignoring others. Rather, it was my parents and my teachers who were ignoring me. Bullying is bullying because bullied kids speak up about it. Then even if something is being done to those kids, if they hang their heads in silence, then it's no longer bullying. So the bullying stops. It didn't solve anything. The sense that I'd react, everyone would find it funny and bully even more. Even though I believed them what they said when they said that, and even though I really tried, no matter how much time passed, it resolved nothing. It resolved nothing at all. In the end, no one could save me. Even though I asked my parents and teachers for help, no one could help me. No one. Ah. I can't do fake crying, I'm sorry. Marie only hung her head. This pitiful girl, Yukari Sakaki, she tried everything she was supposed to try, believing the strict advice of ignoring the bullying. She had endured until today, and yet already, her heart was starting to come apart. And then before long, Hiri started to receive the sweet whispers of yokai inviting her to kill herself. No, perhaps it's because she chose to hear them, that she realized that she could escape if she were to die. Marie deeply, deeply sympathized with the girl. Yukari Sakaki once was a very average girl that one could find in any class. She wasn't particularly the target of any bullying. Unconsciously, she passed her days in peace as bland as a shade of gray. She was quite an average girl. The assault of sudden misfortunes on her began a year ago. Her mother passed away in a traffic accident. That in itself deeply wounded her heart. But for her, the long period afterwards was painful. Her father, as far as she could tell, had lost his spirit. And although he was inefficient at it, he had struggled hard to support both the household and his work. However, he was inexperienced in cooking and housework. Coexisting with his work that had been busy from the beginning, started to break her father down more and more. It was always gloomy. The inside of the house that had been filled with trash and newspapers had become filled with trash and newspapers scattered about. It had already lost the peace of a family. In the beginning, her father tried his best and helped with the laundry. Yukari also helped, seeing her father was suffering. But then the gloomy atmosphere started to eat away at her, and gradually her willpower was snatched away. So she started often wearing the same unwashed clothes, and they gradually started getting dirty. That was pointed out to her by her sharp-eyed classmates, but their words couldn't reach her worn-out ears. Then one day, Yukari realized. She realized she was being called filthy and foul. The people in class were talking about her behind her back. After her mother's death, even her father gradually began to get back on his feet. Whatever horrific emotional scars we might have, time will gently mend them. With that, when Yukari Sakaki returned to her former world, at some point, she would become a target for the bullies in class. Knowing that much, Marie hung her head. Oh my god! This sounds like it's a Dai song, but it's actually not. Or rather, it sounds like an Umineko song. I don't know if Dai was the only person to work on Umineko soundtrack. But this song reminds me of like Hope or Far maybe, or Dur even? I'm not sure which one, but oh yeah, but Dai's actually returning for When They Cry 5, which is very exciting, because he hasn't worked on anything something expansion related, I believe, since Umineko. So it was kind of doubtful, like, oh, what if he doesn't come back? What if he, like the rest of Japan, hated episode 8? Which, episode 8 of Umineko was wildly unpopular in Japan, by the way, if you didn't know. Like 1 through 7, they loved it, they ate it up, but episode 8 came out. And like, Rikushi, what about that scene? You know, the one with the goats? What was that, Rikushi? What are you trying to say? And then everyone hated it. And they, you know, they don't have love, so they can't see the truth. Despite how well she knew Yukari, she had recommended Yukari ask her parents for help, so she became speechless from her own insensitivity. In the beginning, Maria thought Yukari was a weak-minded human who was choosing suicide as her simple escape. However, she completely misunderstood. Since her painful experience with her mother's death, she had recovered and shown courage to return back to her former world. Even so, her own place in the world she had returned to had already disappeared. And yet, she put up with and endured the senseless bullying. She asked her parents and her teachers and others for help. She strictly adhered and believed their irresponsible advice to just ignore it. In the end, she was reduced to cowering in the small bathroom stall, tasting her own tears. How could she call her a weak-minded human who simply chose suicide as an escape? Knowing that much, Marie believed it. Yukari, although she hadn't realized it yet, was truly a strong person. That unfortunate and senseless bullying, those yokai whispers wishing to invite her death, they had crushed what little was left of her heart. If I ignore her like this, there's no way the other yokai will let this unfortunate, tasty-looking girl go. No, there's no way that Higanbana-san will overlook her. I have to save her. She already wanted to be saved by her father and her teachers. Since no one could save her, this time, I have to save her. I understand. But at a time like this, when you can't be saved by anyone, even so, if only there's someone who could save you. I understand that feeling more than anyone. Marie Moria decided. The 8th rank of the school yokai, Meso-san Marie decided she would save her. She decided she would save Yukari Sakaki from her torment. I'll keep going. I'm okay with a like 30-40 minute episode, even if this does mean I can't milk the series out to get my 20 videos this weekend. I set the goal of 20 just because my backlog is very short right now. Like yesterday, because it's 2 a.m. I uploaded the first part of One Girl's Day. So before I started recording today, I only had one video for Higanbana. And I only have a couple for Final Fantasy X too. Like, I'm almost done with that. Watch where you're going. An uproar of laughter follows afterwards. Yukari Sakaki decided to run away at the same time class ended. Someone's gym bag knocked her in the back. Staggering from that, she bumped her head against the wall. The girl showered her with those words of scorn. The other ones always finding fault with Yukari. They were her bullies. The entire class bullied her, or perhaps they approved of it. Among them, there was the leader of a particularly persistent, ill-reputed gang. What? If you got something you want to say, then say it! That's clearly meant to provoke her. In response, no matter what she said, she would be ridiculed, or just rouse them to bully her even more. So Yukari bit her lower lip, dirted in her emotions, and cooled them. She couldn't even let her eyes meet theirs. In truth, she wanted to keep moving. If she were to stop here like this, just by turning around even halfway, she would lose that power of ignoring the bullies. And so, without showing them any more of a reaction than that, she quickly left. At her back, snickers, haughty laughs, sarcastic laughs, sniggers, every sort of sneer was tossed at her. I had to keep going. Since I reacted, everyone is amused. I'm glad I kept going after reacting, but how long do I have to keep doing this until I'm saved? I wonder. At that time for Yukari, naturally there's no answer. No, there was one. If she had to think of it yesterday, the yokai told her. But now, Yukari couldn't think of it. Yukari started to turn to ice. As she forced herself not to think of anything, she walks down the hallway. Not in a hurried pace, but as she always does. So I think there's a grammatical error with the sentence. So, Yukari's heart had turned to ice. That's referring to the past. That's fine. But as she forced herself not to think of anything, that's past tense. She walks down the hallway. That's present tense. You can assume that's an error on Black Lily's part. I assume Japanese writing has some kind of distinguishment between present and past tense. I want to assume that's something that, like, every language has, but at the same time, I don't know. So I don't know if it was meant to be in present or past tense. Most visual novels are in present tense. Anyway, not in a hurried pace, but as she always does. If they were to even see her running off from the classroom, they might have taken... Well, she forced herself not to think of anything. She forces herself. I guess? Well, actually, is that... Grammar experts, you come out and tell me if I'm wrong on that one. If they were to even see her running off from the classroom, they might have taken that as her showing a reaction. When Yukari was gone, the classroom returned to the usual bustle during the break period. Mysteriously, that scene, when Yukari was no longer there, like an optical illusion, it seemed as if the existence of bowling had disappeared entirely. It seemed like an entirely ordinary break. The only one still talking about Yukari was that group of bullies. They were having a friendly chat about how best to harass Yukari next time. It is exactly like this. Wowee! You guys are like... How old are you guys? Like 8? I'm still not sure if this is elementary or middle school. And even then, I don't know what year Japanese elementary school ends. So... that girl, she keeps freaking ignoring us. I'm so gonna make her cry. She's seriously unbelievable. Or make her mad. That'd be a freaking right. Oh, thanks for doing that, dude. She seems like the spazzing type. How about bringing a box cutter? And laugh. That so would make me laugh. I think she'd cry. Get a real thrill out of seeing her cry. Crying? She's probably already been crying, I tell ya. She's totally a spaz, that girl. I want to see her cry too. Masaki-kun, what do you think? Being asked that, the eyes of the bullies gathered on a lone boy. Even though he is 2 grades above them, he passed for a particularly large physique. The boy called Ozaki was their ringleader. He was the perpetrator who hit Yukari with his gym bag. Me? Either way is fine, but his expression was the opposite of his words. I don't mind if we cut her if we make her cry. I'm mad now. I didn't consider an attitude she has like, oh, I'm not even bothered. Frickin' makes me mad now. When he was speaking, like it was a pleasant topic, he grinned wide. To them, bowling Yukari Sakaki was a sport. In sports, it's not about the result, but it's about enjoying the spirit of the competition. I mean, that's a healthy attitude to have about sports. To them, bowling Yukari Sakaki was no different. To them, driving a girl to cry or making them go into a frenzy, whether those things go to plan or betray their expectations, either way is fine. The process itself was truly fun. That is something that they probably knew best. And bowling Yukari Sakaki was just that. To them it was a game. Because they appreciated and laughed, even for the entire class, it was a game. She thinks she can just ignore us like that. She should cry because we wanted to cry. Put an end to her smugness, for sure. After all, that girl, her clothes, they're both dirty. Which means she stinks. Yukari was wearing the same clothes for some time, so it was true that they had gotten dirty. However, that was only temporary. After she recovered from the sadness of losing her mother, she hasn't repeated the same offense since then, even once. But because people were saying Yukari Sakaki's clothes were dirty and smelly, no matter what clothes she tried to wear, or what fragrance she tried, it didn't matter. The assessment she faced had become exactly that. Oh yeah, Ozaki-kun. Do you think we'll be in deep stuff if we take it too far and she writes a will or something? No, of course not. For real? I mean, come on. Even during the time with that one girl, she didn't write a will, did she? The bullied kids all met each other's eyes. Ah, they said as they put on expressions like they remembered, and gestured to the clap of their hands. Which girl are they talking about here? They've had 2 suicide victims in Higanbana so far, but it could have just been a 3rd. I was gonna say unnamed, but the second one was unnamed, so. It's just like they had forgotten what they ate for dinner last night. Their reaction showed that moment of finally remembering it. That's how they treated it. Alright, that did happen. Although if this was Takashi's class, I feel like he'd be like, yo, bullying is wrong! At least I hope he would be. Takashi's my boy. He's done nothing wrong. Except, he has done something wrong, but he learned from his mistakes and won't do it again. And won't bystand. Alright, that did happen. It did. I mean, I'd completely forgotten. Yeah! She didn't kill herself. It just looked like an accident. Just a simple, old accident. She just slipped right off the roof. One of those awful accidents. Teacher even said there's no evidence of her being bullied, right? That's right. That wasn't bullying at all. As officially recognized by the teacher. That's why. There's no way Sakaki's gonna off herself. Even if she dies, it'll just be an accident. There's no way she'll write a will. I guess you're right. I mean, who the heck is bullying Sakaki anyway? We aren't bullying her, right? Of course we aren't. We're so affectionate and loving. The leader Ozaki was mumbling something and saying that only they could understand. And it was a big success, so laughter spread throughout the class. They didn't know what he had said, but it wasn't hard to imagine it was something insulting Yukari Sakaki. No, keep going a little bit. Maria was watching the exchange in the shadows of the classroom. Her eyes fixed on Ozaki, who was repeating those words ridiculing Yukari. Yeah, when I said a little bit, I meant a little bit. I mean, what do you guys expect from me here? I'll see you guys next time with some more Higanbana. Again, I'm gonna take a little 5-minute break and I'll be back. We're getting through this, or at least making significant progress. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.